Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. This time I saw A Perfect Murder. It's a 1998 mystery thriller directed by Andrew Davis, and it stars Michael Douglas, Gwyneth Paltrow, Viggo Mortensen, David Suchet, and Sarita Choudhury. In this film, millionaire industrialist Stephen Taylor is a man who has everything but what he craves most, the love and fidelity of his wife. A hugely successful player in the New York financial world, he considers her to be his most treasured acquisition, but she needs more than simply the role of dazzling accessory. So, what did I think of A Perfect Murder? Um, I really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but I really did. I think as a Hitchcock style thriller, this is very well done, very well directed, acted, and everything. It has a couple issues that keep it from being a 10 for me, but I did really enjoy it and find it to be a pretty satisfying thriller. But let me get to the cast. Michael Douglas plays Stephen Taylor. He's a Wall Street or he's a Wall Street financial guy. He's playing the stocks and all that. Michael Douglas is a great actor that I've always quite enjoyed. I've always found him to be a very interesting actor in that he takes on a lot of different roles. And again, I think he plays a really nice villain type character here. He's very, how do I say? Well, he's definitely very enjoyable to watch in the role, and just really kills it here. Is very unnerving in many scenes, and yeah, he has that presence that you just love to see in movies like this. Gwyneth Paltrow plays Emily Taylor, his wife, who has been cheating on him. Um, Gwyneth Paltrow is an actress that I've not always been the biggest fan of, but I think here she plays the role very well. She has quite a few nice moments of acting where I think she is pretty powerful in the film. And yeah, it's one of those films that might make me change my thoughts on an actress or an actor. Viggo Mortensen plays David Shaw, the man that Emily is cheating on her husband with. I like Viggo Mortensen as an actor. I don't think this is one of his better performances. I like his look. I like his kind of long hair look here. But I think a lot of his scenes just don't work as well as they should. And I think part of it is his acting again. David Suchet plays Mohammed Karaman, who is a detective on the case. I've always liked David Suchet. I never watched his version of Poirot. I do have a few of the Poirot episodes over there in a box set. I have just haven't seen them yet, but I think he plays this character very well. He's enjoyable to watch on screen. And Sarita Choudhury plays Raquel Martinez, who is a friend of Gwyneth Paltrow's. I have always liked Sarita Choudhury. Um, Last thing I saw her in was probably Evil Eye, that um, Blumhouse movie, which I thought was I thought it was decent. Um, Nothing amazing or groundbreaking, but I thought it was a decent watch. She works here as the friend. And here's the thing with this film. I don't want to give a lot away. I don't even want to do a spoiler review. I just want to tell you all the things this film does right and what I think it does wrong. Um, well, first off, this is a remake of Dial M for Murder, and apparently this might be closer to the play or the play that this movie is based off of, or the Dial M for Murder is based off of. So that's only what I heard. I don't know for sure if that's what it is going for. Um, but yeah, Dial M for Murder remake. I've never seen Dial M for Murder. I haven't seen a lot of Hitchcock films. I've seen The Birds, I've seen Psycho, I've seen maybe Vertigo, and probably some other one that I'm forgetting the name of. I've seen more Alfred Hitchcock uh mysteries episodes than movies of his. But uh here, I can definitely see the Hitchcock inspiration, kind of like how in Psycho 2, which was directed by I think Richard Benjamin. Make sure I get that name right because I do want to give credit to him again as well. Richard Franklin, excuse me. Richard Franklin was a student of Hitchcock's, a film student of Hitchcock's, that went on to direct Psycho 2. And again, I think Psycho 2 is better than Psycho 1 in many areas, acting for sure. Uh, but yeah, this film feels very similar in that respect to Hitchcock and Hitchcock influences. And I've always loved Psycho 2. Ever since I saw it, I just fell in love with it. I love its story and everything. Again, I won't say this is as good as that. I think this beats out Psycho 3 and Psycho the Beginning. And even the first Psycho, I'm not a huge fan of Psycho 1. I can acknowledge what it does right and what it did for the genre of thrillers, but I don't find it to be a film that I can go back to that often because of many things that happen in the film just being kind of eh. Uh, but here you have a very tight plot, uh, very tight running time. Always love to see that. I would maybe take points off of this if it was 2 hours or higher because a lot of films like this tend to be 2.5, 2 hour, 2/4 hours, and a lot of them don't have the story for that. This has the story of an hour and 45-minute film, and it's an hour and 45 minutes, and it never, hour and 47, but still, very, quite short film for what you expect, and it has a really nice pace to it. It is definitely a tiny bit slow to start at the very beginning, but it is kind of setting up things so it makes sense. And then when you get to almost halfway through the film, it really just like kicks into gear and is just like this really uh, twisty turny film that you can't wait to see what happens next. And there were a lot of things that I didn't expect that happened. I like again the performances are very strong, but I'll talk about Viggo Mortensen. But the performances for most of the cast are pretty strong. Again, Gwyneth Paltrow giving one of her better performances, in my opinion. Michael Douglas doing his thing. David Suchet, Sarita Choudhury, very strong performances all around. Um, the film looks very nice. It's shot, I think, in New York. I'm pretty sure. You've got a lot of beautiful shots of New York. Um, the direction is very solid. Andrew Davis directed this, who is most well known for The Fugitive, which a lot of people I've heard say is like one of the best action films of all time. I'm not sure I agree there. It's been forever since I've seen it. Under Siege, which I still haven't seen, the Steven Seagal film. He also did Above the Law, which was Steven Seagal's introduction to film. Um, Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman, which I've heard is decent. Collateral Damage with Arnold Schwarzenegger. uh, Code of Silence with Chuck Norris, The Package with Gene Hackman and Tommy Lee Jones, The Guardian with Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher. Very well respected director who mostly does action films, but again has done thrillers. And yeah, I as a thriller director, because I've mostly seen his thrillers, I think he's very solid for sure. He also did Holes with Shia LaBeouf, which I've heard a lot of people say that they've liked it. Um, But yeah, the direction here is very solid, very nice. Again, very Hitchcockian. He definitely knows what he's doing here with his nods to Hitchcock in some of his camera angles. Definitely the spiral staircase being one of them. Um, the score by Jesus, what's James Newton Howard, who did the scores for Batman Begins, Dark Knight, uh, all the Hunger Games films, Pretty Woman, Collateral, lots of very well loved movies. Definitely gives a really nice score here with some nice guitars at times at like intense moments, and it doesn't feel like every other movie score at the time, which is nice. Um, the ending I thought was very satisfying in how it played out. I I didn't feel like scammed or anything. Um, but one thing I do, just a couple things I do need to talk about. Um, there are some moments that I think are very convenient, and I know that happens in a lot of thrillers. There's a lot of convenience in order to have like a very action-packed story or whatever. But there are some moments that I'm a bit like, really? Does that need to be there? There's a couple moments I wasn't huge on. Uh, I I also wish you got to know a bit more about Viggo Mortensen's character. Like, he does have a backstory, but he's definitely playing second fiddle to Michael Douglas and Gwyneth Paltrow. So he has a decent amount of screen time. It's just I wish he got to do a bit more. I wish there was a bit more of a back and forth between all three of them. And again, Viggo Mortensen's performance, he's not bad. He's just simply going for something that I'm not a fan of, and I think kind of holds the movie back a little when he's on screen. But overall, I think this is a very, again, very well made, very succinct, again, very well paced and well made thriller that pays a lot of homage to uh, Alfred Hitchcock. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that was my review of, before I forget it, A Perfect Murder. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door, out.